Becky, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Rajiv. Hi Rajiv, welcome.
Hi Becky, it's lovely to be here.
Okay, today we're going to talk about work-life balance. Rajiv, work-life balance, is it a myth? Is it a reality? Does it even exist?
Great question, isn't it? But this is a question that's been in the minds of people for a very long time. But in the context and in the times that we live in, I think it assumes great significance. What is work-life balance? In my mind, work-life balance is the ability to be effective and efficient in the multiple roles we play as a person. Sometimes we forget about the multiplicity of these roles. We play the role of a spouse, of a parent, of a child, of an employer, employee, friend, and the list goes on. And it's important that each of these roles receives its due attention, investment of time, and effort. Becky, I've heard of people argue very convincingly that there is no such thing as work-life balance. I find that hard to believe, and I frankly don't agree with that argument, just by the sheer number of roles a person has to play. And if you neglect any role, for instance, if you neglect health, which is an integral part of the individual role, it's going to affect several other roles eventually. Similarly with work, if you ignore work, it's going to affect other roles. What work-life balance is not, it's not an excuse to be slack at work. And often we think of work-life balance, maybe that's an excuse to be slack at work. It isn't. It is about allocating the right time and attention and excelling in all these roles at the same time.
So that sounds great in theory, Rajiv, but let's be honest, on a practical level, how does one manage work and life in a balanced way?
I think the key word in work-life balance is balance. And often we get so caught up with the words work and life that we forget this important word of balance. I just love the way the dictionary describes and defines the word balance. It goes something like this. It's the right distribution of weight which enables someone or something to stand upright or to remain steady. To paraphrase, balance brings a state of steadiness. So, if we are to, it's important to find what is the amount of time, effort that needs to be invested and distributed appropriately across the roles that we play. If you neglect, let's say, the role of being a parent, well, it's going to have an impact on life and the other roles at some other time. And similarly, if you neglect work, because of personal reasons, it's going to impact work. The problem in the absence of balance, well, it ushers in a state of confusion and triggers a collapse eventually. Identifying the right balance for each of the roles becomes of paramount importance for individual success and progression.
Rajiv, you spoke about roles. So can we talk a little more about roles? How do you manage the several roles in your life responsibly?
I think it begins with recognizing the fact that no single role makes up life in its entirety. Just work isn't life in its whole. But the misnomer of the times that we live in, we define success by an individual's net worth or his or hers designation. For me, that's a partial estimate of success. The holistic estimate of success is how are we faring in the various roles that we are actually playing. This partial view of success is like, for instance, saying, I'm in great health, despite the fact that I'm suffering from a severe heart condition. I say I'm in great health because my brain works well. Hey, how absurd is that, isn't it? We all know that if one organ is not functioning well, despite all your other organs functioning well, you are still unhealthy. So it is with the different roles of our life. If we neglect the role of work, it's going to have an impact on several other roles. Vice versa, if you neglect the role of family, you're going to end up with strained relationships. I think true success is about when one gives respect and invests time on every facet of life. You got to remember that success in life is measured in its entirety.
So Rajiv, you spoke about managing roles, but then how do you switch between these different roles that we're managing?
The question arises, and the question is such a powerful question, right? So how do I how do I play these multiple roles at the same time? I mean, do I play one role in 1 month and the second role in another month? Well, that's not work-life balance. You got to do it probably several roles across one particular day. The secret is staying in the moment and playing that particular role. For instance, if you are at work between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., well, you got to give your 100% to the work that you're doing without being distracted by personal issues. And similarly, when you're playing the role of a spouse or a parent, well, you give yourself to that particular role without being distracted by work. The challenge is knowing when to cut off and to play that role and to make that switch. And as you get more aware of it, get more cognizant of it, and you are deliberate about your actions, you'll actually be able to play that role. When we bring work home and when we bring personal issues to work, that's when, we fail miserably in this whole work-life balance thing. So remember the secret again. Stay in the moment, play the role, and you'll be a champion when it comes to practicing work-life balance.
So this is great stuff, Rajiv. But there's another challenge, right? There's only so many hours in a day. So with the time that we have, how do we switch between roles and stay in the moment at each role while we have a given amount of time and a set amount of time?
I think it begins with you managing time rather than allowing time to manage you. Think about that statement, right? It's quite powerful, and often we fall in the latter category where we allow time to manage us. The practice of work-life balance requires the proper allocation of time, energy in each of these areas. Take, for instance, the individual role. For the individual role, you probably will need to spend time in prayer, meditation, physical exercise, and also probably reading. Now, you could do all these activities at one go, or you could spread these activities across the day. But it's important to have a specific time allocated for these activities. For if you don't, it's never going to happen. So allocation of time becomes very critical. But I know the common objection to this is, where is the time? Hold on to that question for a minute. Take, for instance, if you were to just wake up 2 hours earlier every day, what would that add up to? It would add up to 730 hours in a year. And the significance of 730 hours is exactly 1 month. Isn't that awesome? 1 month if you just wake up 2 hours earlier. So really, having no time is not the excuse. What is important is to cut out those high-consuming activities which are also low in terms of contribution. These are distractions to practicing work-life balance. I want to tell you that the practice of work-life balance has a holistic impact on every area of our life, be it on us as an individual, be it on relationships, be it on health, be it on finance, and also social networks. So it's far more important that work-life balance just remains a concept out there which gets debated and argued, but becomes an integral part of our lifestyle.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, for your time and for giving us these great practical insights on the subject. If you'd like to participate in a conversation about the topic that we just discussed, please comment in the comment section below. Please like and share this video with your friends. Also, if you'd like Rajiv to cover any other topic, or if you'd like Rajiv to speak at one of your events, write to us at info@ergosmind.com. Please note that you can follow Ergos Mind on all its social media links that are listed on this video down below. Thank you so much. This was fun. See you again next time.